Hey guys, it's Brittany here with Fresh Living, and today I wanted to show you some of the goodies I picked up at the farmer's market, and also later on we're going to be making some kale chips with the kale there. One reason why I am showing you what I got from the farmer's market and not my garden is because I didn't have one this year. I just recently moved into a new house and didn't have time to get the seeds sown and get the raised beds built. So I always think the next best thing if I didn't, have a good crop that year or something is to go straight with the farmer's market because you still get all your produce fresh and you're able to ask the vendor how they grew it, what products they used. For example, this morning I also picked up a dozen eggs from the farmer's market, and I was able to ask her how they fed the chickens and if they were free range and so forth. So, it just helps you take a little more control over what you're eating as opposed to just buying from the grocery store. It also puts more money into your local economic system and just helps to support the local farmers, which I think is great. So you'll see here I grabbed some sweet potatoes, which I'll be frying up later with some olive oil and garlic and, maybe some peppers and things like that. Here I got some okra, which I'll be making a Sudanese dish with the okra. My husband's from Sudan, so we do a lot of Sudanese food, Egyptian food, and Mediterranean dishes, and the okra is great with those. Then I'm, just an old-fashioned Southern girl, so I've got to have my fried green tomatoes when I can. And then we've got some sweet peppers and some jalapeno peppers that I just throw in with other things. And then we've got zucchini and cucumbers. So we just usually eat those, on a daily basis in our salad and stuff, especially the cucumbers and the zucchini. Either I'll stir fry or, maybe make some bread with those. So anyway, let's get on to making the kale. So we're here at the sink, and obviously what we want to start with first is washing the kale. If you have a salad spinner, that's great because I like to, make it as dry as possible after we wash it. So I first sanitize the sink. I always sanitize the sink when I want to put my veggies and stuff in there. Food safety is important. So you just wash each of them. And then after I get it washed, I'll show you here. You can just take the kale and slide it right off the stem. And then you have these beautiful little pieces here. And then I'll throw those in as I go. So here's another one. Okay, and we'll just keep doing this until the process is complete. Okay, so we finished cleaning the kale and stripped them all from the stems. If you have a composter or something, then that's great to do, to put your stems in there. And then we're just gonna stick it in the spinner. And this is actually the first time I've used this spinner. I just picked it up from my local Kroger. They had a pretty good sale going on, but I'm happy to finally get one. Okay, I'm gonna just give it one more spin. Let's take a look. Great. Looks nice and dry. It doesn't have to be completely dry, but you just don't want it absolutely soaked with water. And we'll take it over to the stove. Now's when you want to go ahead and get your stove preheated. Usually put it between 200 and 250. I think I'll go with 250 today. The point is just to really slow bake it. Because the process is that we're just dehydrating it when we're going to make it crunchy. So we'll let that preheat while I get my spices and my olive oil. Okay, so we're here. I grabbed my spices. We're gonna use olive oil with just a little sprinkle over it because that helps the spices stick well. And today I chose to do turmeric and Tastefully Simple garlic seasoning. The great thing about the kale chips is that you can use any spice you like. We love turmeric and we love curry. The turmeric curry and a little bit of salt is amazing. But this garlic is something new that I just got from one of the parties my sister hosted, and it already has some things mixed in as far as salt and some chive spices. It says of course the minced garlic and minced onion and things, so that should really liven this up and make it flavorful. And then I'm also doing the turmeric just because turmeric is so beneficial for your health and it tastes so good. So we'll start by just taking some handfuls out. A lot of people, I know, they like to make their kale, small, so if it's connected like this, we can just break it apart into bite-sized pieces. I prefer not to break it apart too small, just because when it's dehydrating, it does shrink down. And I think the bigger pieces just tend to be a little bit more fun to eat. They're bigger and they're easier just to have as far as the bite size go. So we will just continue to separate some of these. You want it to lay nice and flat and not really on top of each other. So if there's a lot of space in between, that's no problem. We can just throw a second cookie sheet in. But it will take longer to dehydrate if they're on top of each other. And, maybe the top one will get done faster than the bottom or vice versa. So it's better just to have it nice and evenly spread out on your cookie sheet. And this was about 2 bunches I had, so it's definitely, gonna take us 2 times in the oven with this cookie sheet. Okay, so once we have it laid out, we're just gonna take our olive oil and really just thinly sprinkle. I mean, olive oil is so good for you anyway, but I prefer a nice dry crunch. I don't really like it to be oily. But like I said, we do need to get enough on there to help the spices stick. Well, that's not really coming out, is it? Okay. Now we're just gonna sprinkle. And there's no exact measurement. It's just whatever you prefer. We'll sprinkle on the garlic. I won't do quite as much of garlic as the turmeric, just because it is thicker. And, it's not like a powder, so it's not gonna stick well. But that smell in the oven is going to be amazing. Okay, then we can just kind of mush it up, mix them all together. If we got some extra spice there at the bottom, oh, we lost one. Okay. We're going to just even it back out again. There we go. And into the oven it goes. It's going to be in the oven now for maybe 40 minutes or so. So we are done. It's been right at 40-45 minutes. You can see how they shrunk down. And right away you can hear the crunch. You can just hear how crispy that is. And just the smell is unbelievable. My mouth is definitely watering. So let's just take a bite and see how they turned out. Oh yeah, that is so good. And the turmeric is unbelievable. And as I mentioned before, I try not to put too much olive oil on it just because I do like that dry, crispy taste. Sometimes if you put too much oil on it, then they just get wet on the outside. But that is delicious. So we still have the remainder amount that we didn't cook yet. I'm gonna throw those in, and we are definitely gonna start munching on these now and enjoy them. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps you guys create your own blend of spices for your kale chips, and enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe or like below. Thank you.